Captain Don Alfonzo, Soarsoul, Ernesto of the Dawn Warden was stationed at Belesto. Currently the Free Seas, French Section C, 3PE, where the inhabitants speak in an art fashion and dress even harder. And there's a mix of other beings too, such as the brother, staunch believers in the mother of mystique and magic, and thought of God, the Lord of leadership and drastic actions. The factions that live at Belesto are the brother captains, the Free Trade Manifesto, Mercantile Guild, the Death Defiance, the Regal Giants, and the Principes Ryan, the Heralds of Violence, the Silent Beholders, the Truth Seekers, the Bleeding Sky Soldiers, the Orangine Focus, the Aegean Eyes, and the Arcane Motors of the Sacred Design. There he was in the dive called the Elysium Fine Wine Emporium, getting live for the night with his newest of crew, Danzig and Ellison Moo, Timur Avad, and the Astral Navigator Wang Su, and he asked what's new here in the French of the Free Sea. What's up with the Orion Principes, recent murder of the Free Trade Mercantile Guild, Coin Lord, the Prime Bank of Emerald Hill, capital of Belesto, the city we're in, the city contested of splendor and sin. Ellison Moo said, I hardly know where to begin, and if the story is even true of the Dragon Ejin who seeks to conquer Second Prime in the Outer Rim, our war will soon be waged, he will likely win. The Dragon Ejin works for the Dragon Empire, they're making moves here too, that's why Abalon died. The Coin Lord is engulfed in Principe fire to make way for the Dragon friendlier Jebediah Rill. As Coin Lord of Emerald Hill, he will supply General Ejin with plenty of krill, the primary currency here in the Outer Rim fringe of the Free Sea bordering the Dragon Ejin's sector of space, the solar system, Kumai Shah, and of course its neighboring system, Sigun Avar, where Sigun Prime is located far from the world of the central Free Sea where the first human world. Terra Prime is located from where most of us hail, traveling all the way to Kumai Shah would entail risk of fatal failure at the close Kumai Shah. Draconians were fighting for Sigun Prime's army, would like to cause a large shift in how the war would play out. That would earn us plenty krill to do whatever, no doubt. But Sigun Prime in the shadows of fantastic clouds would take a lot of time to secure from the great house Elizyr, the noble house of the Dragon Ejin. The Felodren of Sigun Prime will pay us big if we end up slaying him and freeing them of dragon oppression. But we need lots of weapons and draconian confessions that can tell us where to find him and how we will get close enough to him to put lots of lead in his head. Mumbai shots Kuntal where the house is alive. We're talking 60,000 krill if he dies by rifles and blades before the fighting begins. In earnest, that's what I gather of him. Tell on the status of the Outer Rim fringe of the Free Sea, which will likely soon end up in draconian hands, or rather close if we don't find a way to slay the Dragon Ejin, get close enough to ghost kill him, assassinate, slay him in his slumber. Cause Ejin's awake, he will be impossible for a crew to fight. That's why we need to hit him in the middle of night. Alfonzo Soarsoul answered with brightness shining from his face as if it was a light. In the darkness of a spark of certainty of success filled his heart and mind and his spirit no less. We will test our metal against the Dragon Empire. Ejin Elizyr will dive our blades and blast fire. Then we can retire to the paradise sky. Never again have to steal, fight, pillage and lie. That would be quite alright in my book of life. Who's with me? Everyone in, go on and pile your hands upon mine. Everyone present, they're dead. Though it took a little time for Timur and Danzig, they would risk their lives to fight the Dragon Empire on behalf of the Felodren who dwell on Sigun Prime. The new primary objective, gather further and sell house and collect enough krill to travel to the solar system. Sigun Avar and have shields up in case of a Mumbai Shah attack on the Dawn Warden before they can reach Sigun Prime if they don't use how to speak. But save the drive for the getaway they will need to make the great escape when they finally free Mumbai Shah's prime planet Kuntal, when they have slain the Dragon Ejin during his little dragon nap. But they need to make a stop on Sigun Prime first, and from there track their path to dragon-ruled Earth Kuntal in the Mumbai Shah solar system. We will need to resupply in Sigun Prime's western most astral shiphold, the city of Vuun Ugar, in the crimson gloom light of the red moon Zulphar. That was the plan so far for a rather insane quest to get rich from actual dragon slain and disrupt the reign of the Dragon Empire in the fringe of the Free Sea, the so-called Rimfire sectors far from the part of the vast Astral Sea, which humankind ruled the so-called heart of the Free Sea. They were undeniably quite out of their minds, risking their lives alone on the astral ship flight into draconian domain. Even more so to try to slay an actual dragon was more likely they died than survived, but the decision was now already made. Inside the Elysium fine wine emporium way, down inside Balestra's capital Emerald Hill, they were going to attempt to stealthily kill the Dragon Lord and General of Vuun Ugar, Ejin Elizyr, but first go to Sigo Navarre. Crew was flying towards Sigo Navarre. The Dawn Warden passed several stars, shining bright in the eternal obsidian night of the Astral Sea Rimfire Sector C5E4. Past meteorites galore, and suddenly the door to the bridge opened and Danzig came in. Danzig was his Captain Soarsoul's best friend. He looked dreary, weary, probably because of what awaited ahead on the dangerous course. He said, "Captain, can we speak in a manner discreet? I mean, without anyone else within hearing reach of our speech. There's some things I hope to clear up with you because they fill me with fear. Or whoever hears me below and deck 4, and I will be all ears. You can have a discourse without any others listening. Shortly thereafter, they met up, and Warhears presented the matter on his mind. The city Vuun Ugar and Sigon Prime was the main hive of the infamous Paladin crime cartel, which has tried to take Danzig's life several times in various of his stealth shady dives. Estelle being the primary city of Astral Prime, the nearest city controlled by the Prime Divine humankind empire of the Sulatan tribes, unified in the sacred light of Mulligan Bride, the first Sulatan knight scribe to ascend to divine stages in 500 years. Then a Stelligan side, the original high divine of the Terra combined. Danzig fell fight for the Paladin slide, thief, smuggler, assassin, slayer, and spy. Network with the dirt and various sides all over the Astral Sea were tried several times to make him unalive. They would probably not shy away from public attempts on Vuun Ugar and his life. Captain Alfonso's eyes shone bright when he said the Paladin crime cards of the night knives will treat you alright when they hear we're trying to put an end to Dragon Lord Ejin's horrifying life before it can bring strife to the home world. And if not, I will have a meeting with some of the leaders of the scumbag organization and tell them what Ejin seeks to do to the nation. If we're trying to slay him, then I will pay him a bit to forget they ever put an actual hit on your head. Dear Warhears, there's no reason to fret. The fella to the more than that dragon we're trying to dead. So forget all your dread if it comes to bloodshed. We'll fill the night knives with explosive lead. Then go ahead with the plan to fill our vessel with more fuel and ale for the shields and weapons. Of course, the outlaws still work beneath the order of Secret. The clown with demands a whole lot of respect in the whole sector. The director of the Sultanate of Sundra's conglomerate, formerly led by the frat Florence, an old friend from a shadier past. As a killmonger for the death monks of Undermilad, I used to hunt for the Sultanate of Sundra's. They know me as Alfonzo Ernesto, slayer of monsters the bold. I thought I told you all that when we escaped Milad, because we had to, because of exactly that. My past and yours, it's time to at last let them go. When we're done with our quest, we will have plenty of cash. Pay the night knives exactly what they want in return to stop their hunt on your head, if they even still want you dead. I hope that brings some peace to your rather upset self. Warhears, what do you say? Are you ready to make way to the city of slaves? Vuun Ugar to refill what we need for our space. Journey to where the Dragon Ejin awaits for us to slay the great thing for greatest yet paid. Or would you rather stay behind, perhaps your grey port, which will travel by very soon? No answer, Danzig, I'm ready for Vuun Ugar, I should say. We'll have plenty of krill soon, so I can pay them what I owe them. Until then, the night knives will have to put their vendetta on hold as I seek to help with the matter, threatening the whole home world, Sigon Prime. I'm ready for whatever, matter of fact, fuck the knives, I despise all the crimes. If it comes to a cap, I will fill them with lead, lay the fuckers all dead. That said, let us try not to cause any trouble when we step off the docks to the primary hub. We'll not make a big number out of our coming. We will seek out a shipwright, looking for money, pay him 50 up front, and then the rest when he's done. Fill the Dawn Warden up, both with fuel and the guns, with ale and ammunition, and the shields and the jump drive. We will will need, for the time it shall come to escape Kuncha after we have confronted and killed Ejin. Will likely be mad haunted and need to jump to hyperspeed, escape what we can from the dragon dominion, perhaps to area to land. So are we ready to continue on our journey, my friend? Dancing nodded, Sky Captain to the French, to the end of the free sea and beyond, to the dragon empires domain and back again. We'll make it through heavy hellfire. I'm sure with yours lead as captain of a vessel. There's no reason to stress, to fret and be disheveled. Matter of fact, I'm rebel the fact that we're free, that we're kindred spirited rebels staring to sea, to attempt to slay a draconian beast nobility, to gain a lot of krill, establish long-lasting peace. In the French of the free sea, we'll be heroes by then. Alfonzo, Soarsoul, Ernesto, you're my very best friend. The feeling is mutual, Alfonzo said with a smile, and the truth is he wasn't ready to die himself, but he believed that our plan it would work as it would. So unexpected that a crew from an earth of humankind would find a way to slay Ejin in his sleep and slip away, stealthily flee to a faraway free part of the Astral Sea where they could hide out a bit before seeking out a Felidrin to pay them the quits for the hit on the Dragon Lord who threatened their world, then return to the Astral Sea, center the world. As they landed Vuun Ugar neath the red moon Zulphar, near the massive dark canyon known as the Sky of Ugar. Vuun Ugar I waited beneath. They could see the high-rise palaces and the streets, the buildings in between the factories and the highways and the ghettos, where the Felidrin crime cartel, the night knives held the actual might over everything and everyone that turned up inside the so-called deep Shatanath, where Abalatral ruled as the magistrate shower, where the primary bar of the night knives, where they enjoyed the nightlife, a place they surely wouldn't seek out but stay far away from, until resupplying stuff in the city. In fact, they would only go to the bazaar of Vinivici, the infamous market, where they would find a shipwright that could give them a bargain price of resupplying the Dawn Warden, their ship. They landed, stepped out of the docks where a big Elizyr and being about as tall as a grip, that's 3 meters, stood side by side with Talon beneath the blood mastiff of the night knives. The assassin who tried to take Danzig's life several times. He laughed, said he knew that ship would land here about this time, and he heard it from a Felidrin scout spy Emerald Hill, who had overheard some talk at the Elysium fine wine Imperium about traveling to Second Prime just to stop and refuel and restock the supplies, because they were headed to the dragon realm of Mubay Shah, and it discerned that the leader of the crew was the Star Fleet Admiral Alfonzo had chosen to go rogue at the Battle of Minasaret Stone, Temple on Sloan, another world in the rim, fire sectors of the free sea, cause him and his crew suddenly had a treasure to find on the nearby planet of Veselian Prime that was more than squeezing the line. It was crossing the line of what was allowed in the empire of the terror combined. High crime and the punishment for that was the deaths of everyone involved. Since then the ship had flown around in the outer fringe of the free sea, and then even inside the mystique it was Captain Alfonzo, Soarsoul and his crew. And of course I knew Danzig wore his too. Too good to be true, I had to see for myself, and here you are, dear brethren. How can I help to make your stay here pleasant? Not a permanent one, because of the bullets spraying out of my guns. Tell me someone, one should hope it from counter to one, and then my Elizyr tells the shreds to be blunt. Suddenly Danzig reached for his gun very quickly and filled the Talon batter's face with his lead. He fell on with death, and his wounds looked all filled with dread. Suddenly the blood spilled left and right as Alfonso's crew opened full fire on the Felidrin mobsters, whose situation was dire. Now the Elizyr enraged them with strength for Danzig, with a face full of hate. Then Elizyr used magic to shield him from harm. The great beast hit nothing but air, and the turn was lit up with fire. Next thing, the Elizyr in a blaze ran to escape, but the magical flames were burning his body, couldn't outrun its death, and the last gun fell on soul filled with hollow points, lead To the rest of the night knives will hear the show down, so we should hasten up and quickly approach. Step aside, bit him in a bitch and find Mr. Roach, who I'm sure will be able to reach supplies for nowhere near what it would cost from the glistening ghosts who control the feathered fleet of astral vessels who boast of 70 ships and 4,000 gunboats would likely seek to hold us in our approach. Kuma is shy because of the bloodshed we just caused here in Vuun Ugar's astral ship docks. They soon found Mr. Roach and he agreed to help for the meager pair for all the grill, but soon they themselves of Elvery shots they were ready to leave Vuun Ugar behind us before the night knives, the lead assassins would arrive from the docks. The whole ship, the Dawn Warden was gone, and so was talent, beliefs, weapons, drill and ammunition, all Status men, all aboard the Dawn Warden now with dancing and friends. And for now to the little beat he had with the night knives themselves, Vuun Ugar and Shahad. Now sat the true leader of the night knives, he laughed when he heard that the craft was pursuing a path towards the draconian-controlled space. Who might shy, forget him, he said to the magistrate Shah. I better drive the Dawn Warden's crew won't like to survive. Where they're going this time, I'm quite sure they will die. Ha ha ha.